All right, let's have a conversation because players that we were hoping would be ready to start before probably their time should be, and they didn't. We somehow forget. I think we've added so much talent when you talk about CJ Gardner Johnson, when you talk about Kirby Joseph, when you already have Tracy Walker, then you go out, you get Cam Sutton, you go out and get Mosley. Like you have all these guys, you already have Jerry Jacobs, and you start thinking to yourself, like, man, there's a guy that haven't seen much of anything from other than some special teams things. He hasn't looked ready for the big show, but we know we drafted him in like the third round just a couple years ago, and that guy is Ifiatu Melifonwu. Iffy. Where's he been? What's he been up to? Well, he's had the opportunity to show out a little bit in OTAs, and it would make sense that he's on that progression. If a guy wasn't quite ready, he has the physical skills. He has all this kind of stuff that, man, you feel like he should be better. And in multiple sources, we're seeing that he's had a phenomenal OTAs. Detroit's secondary has been performing well and holding their own against talented receivers. All right. Melifonwu showcased some fire even during walkthroughs as he needed to be walked off the field after being involved in a skirmish with Detroit's offense. Let's go. You love having these. It's June, people, and people are getting in skirmishes and fights. That's how bad this team wants it. I love it. The young defensive back had a pass breakup and was in position during coverage all throughout practice. Now, there's another place that I saw the same thing where they were hyping up Melifonwu because CJ Gardner Johnson wasn't there. And as we know, we've got Tracy Walker hurt. So it was Kirby Joseph and Ife Melifonwu that were starting in the back end. Melifonwu played very well, got starters reps throughout the OTAs, throughout the practices that were available to the media, and he is playing really well. I love this. And I know what you're thinking, and you're thinking to yourself, like, well, where does he even have room to play on this team? Okay, hold on. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the depth chart. You got Kirby Joseph, who now we're all slotting in as a starting safety because of the way he played last year, and mostly because he picked up Aaron Rodgers multiple times, but also because he played well and he is a ball hawk, something Tracy Walker isn't. Then you have Tracy Walker. CJ Gardner Johnson absolutely is a safety, absolutely will start, but he is going to play a large amount of snaps at nickel. He's going to play snaps at nickel. So if anybody gets hurt, if Joseph gets hurt, if Walker's not quite ready to come back, even though all signs point to he's going to be ready to go coming off that Achilles, but if he's not ready to come back, or if he gets a setback or gets re-injured, then all of a sudden it's either Melifonwu or Branch. And I would imagine Branch is basically going to do everything CJ Gardner Johnson does. He's going to play in the nickel. He's going to play at safety. We don't even know what we're seeing from this guy. Right now, Melifonwu is the 3.5 safety, if that makes any sense. This guy he's one injury away from playing over 50% of the snaps. It is awesome to see this. And if he is a gem that gets unlocked, what your hope is that CJ Gardner Johnson gives you a phenomenal year this year. Phenomenal year this year. And then one of two things happens. Either you pay him big money and you keep him around, or you have the hope that Brian Branch becomes CJ Gardner Johnson, or you have a guy like Melifonwu step up. It's the same with Tracy Walker. Tracy Walker, I believe, is on the third year of his deal. Maybe this might be his last year. He might have one more year after this, but you know how these contracts are done. You could get rid of them. If Melifonwu is a cheaper option to Tracy Walker, that's what you do. You replace. You bring in guys. If there's not a big talent discrepancy, you pay the guy less money than the other one you would have to pay. That's how you get money to pay your big name players. When Hutchinson needs to get paid, Goff is being paid, when Sewell needs to get paid, Ragnow's being paid. Like, these are certain guys that you're going to have to hand money to. So you need to figure out where you're going to save some. So that's what we have. We've got Melifonwu, and the question that I'm asking in this title is, did the Lions just unlock a gem? This isn't like a rookie that all of a sudden is there. We see players who just slowly make a progression over their first 2, 3, 4 years. All of a sudden, in year 3, year 4, year 5, they become massive contributors, either phenomenal depth pieces off the bench or solid starters. That's what we want in Melifonwu. That's what we want. And I hope that's what we get. Let me know what you think. I mean, the dude has all the size and skills that he should have. He's 6'3", 210 pounds. And speaking of 6'3", 210, guess what? Dude was playing corner, outside corner in OTAs as well. So it looks like the Lions are open to see where they're going to play him. Maybe he's still got a shot out there. You just never know. It could have been one of those things where he saw the draft, he saw us get Branch, he saw free agency where we got CJ Gardner-Johnson, we got Cam Sutton, we got Mosley, and all of a sudden he was just like, oh crap. I need to get in the best shape of my life. I need to get my head right. I need to start making sure I'm better. Otherwise, I'm not getting paid next year because I'm not going to make this team. So either he's balling out and he's able to make this team continuing on his rookie salary, or he's off the team. So this is kind of one of those things. Like, what do you do when your feet are to the fire? And I think Iffy isn't iffy about it. I think he's stepping up to the challenge. That was a horrible play on words. That was so bad. But like, why not? Why not? He's 24 years old. Barely 24 years old. He's young. He still can grow. He can still get so much better. And he didn't play that bad when he had the opportunity to. At times, yeah. I mean, it was really bad. But maybe he's gotten to the point this year where he can be a solid backup. And then you're looking at him as next year as maybe he can replace a Walker. Maybe you don't have to hand the bag to Walker and CJ Gardner-Johnson, and maybe he can be that guy that you can pay a little amount to, and he can just be a lifelong. Kirby Joseph is the starter, Walker's the starter, or CJ Gardner-Johnson's the starter, or Branch is the starter, but Melifonwu's right there. And does he have an edge up because you have these CJ Gardner-Johnson and you have Brian Branch, who both are like Swiss Army knife, but when they're playing the nickel, somebody's got to play safety. While you have them both, it can be them. They can alternate. But when you only have one of them, you need somebody else to play that safety position. Or what if there's injuries to the corner front? Can Iffy Melifonwu be one of these guys that could be a safety or an outside corner, and he can keep himself very multiple, which would be very, very helpful for this team. I don't know what you think, but it could be a shot. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Is there any future hope for Iffy? Hey, while you're there, subscribe to the channel, maybe even become a member, and we will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all.